Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Welcome to episode 7 of Behind the Camera with Pete. And I have a very special guest today. Before I introduce him, I do want to say that this show and every show during the college football season, of course, is sponsored by betnow.eu. Make sure you visit the link in the description of this video and every video that I upload. Click that link if you like to wager on football, and a portion of those proceeds will go to a good cause, St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Also, make sure you use the promo code PETE, P-E-E-T-E, and they will give you a 50% bonus to whatever you deposit. So, look, this is a guy that I'm having on today that a lot of you probably know who he is. He's not in the college football realm, although his name suggests in a way that he is. He does like to talk college football, but his main thing, of course, is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on my man, UCF Jaguar. How you doing, sir?
Pete, what's happening, man? Looking forward to talking a little talk with you, and as we round on until football season, man, it's almost here.
Hey, it's just around the corner, and I don't know if you're excited as I am. I'm sure you are.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I literally live for football season. I mean, I'm always looking forward to the next big football event, and now I'm looking forward to preseason football when it comes to the NFL. Then, NFL starts in September. Luckily, with college football this year, we get it a week early with Florida and Miami facing off right in my backyard. So,
exactly.
It's coming at us quick.
Exactly. And I found your channel not long after I came on YouTube. I can't remember exactly when it was, but we have a lot of mutual, quote unquote friends on YouTube. And I've even had conversations with you off air. Yeah, but before I started doing these live streams and using the, all the equipment with the OBS, you were nice enough to return a phone call of mine. And whenever you started doing your live streams, and we had a conversation about, technical stuff. And I thought that was very cool of you to do that. You obviously didn't have to do that, but that just shows me what kind of guy you are from the beginning. But look,
yeah, man, I'm always asking people advice too. So always got, if you're gonna give it, you gotta take it.
Yeah, listen, I need all the help I can get. Believe me, I can barely tie my own shoes in the morning. But I mentioned a minute ago that your name. And listen, we're going to talk about your YouTube channel. That's all part of this, part of this series. But before we do that, I mentioned that your name can be confusing. It confused me a little bit when I first saw it. Now it's obvious what it means once you find out who you really are. So the UCF part of your name, and that's because you're a graduate of UCF, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, when I was thinking of channel names, it was going to be a Jaguars channel. So I was thinking different things like Jags Empire or Jags, just a bunch of just, kind of basic names like that. And I didn't really know what it was. I kind of wanted UCF Jaguar. I was kind of in the back of my mind, but I was also thinking, what if one day I want to sell merchandise and people don't want, the UCF tag in there just because it's, kind of people find that they're a Knights fan or something like that. But I didn't start out as UCF Jaguar. I think I made about 3 videos not being UCF Jaguar. I was looking at it, I was like, you know what? UCF is a part of my identity. I graduated school in 2016, and I'm a huge Jaguar fan, so I wanted that to be, kind of my name. And, I've kind of gone through a couple different logos, just kind of combining, putting a Knight helmet on a Jaguar. And I like the name, man. It really speaks to who I am.
Yeah, and it really flows off, it rolls off the tongue. And it says a lot about, I think it's cool that you incorporated your alma mater into your name, even though it's, what you do is mainly a Jaguars channel, but I still think it's cool that you incorporated your alma mater into that. So listen, give me a little bit of your life history. Not, I don't need to know everything, obviously, but so I know you're from Florida, obviously. I know you live in Florida, obviously, but are you a native of Jacksonville or somewhere else in Florida?
Yeah, I'm a native of Jacksonville. I was born in a little town called Ocala, Florida. Then when I was 1 or 2 years old, moved out to Jacksonville. And I lived in Jacksonville up until when I graduated high school. So a long time. But then, about a month after I graduated high school, I moved down to Orlando to go to UCF. And I've been here since. So I've been really just living in Jacksonville and Orlando my whole life.
Right. Now, a lot like me, well, not a lot like me, but we have something in common in the fact that we are both fans of NFL teams that expanded at the same time. 1995, the Jaguars and the Panthers both came into the NFL at the same time, and they are both considered to be smaller market teams. Now, the only difference I think there is that the Panthers, from day one, they were very smart. They realized that probably Charlotte was not a big enough market to support the team by itself, so they made the slogan immediately from a marketing standpoint that the Panthers are a two-state team, two states, one team. That's their slogan. Now, Jacksonville is a small market, but obviously you have two other NFL teams in the state of Florida to compete with. So I don't know how you felt. I don't even know how old you were at the time. I was 15 whenever this happened, and I was over the moon excited that we were finally getting an NFL team, and I fell in love with the Panthers from day one. But can you take me back to whenever, how old were you whenever the expansion happened?
Well, the Jaguars are going into their 25th season, and I'm 25 years old, so I don't quite remember when the Jaguars acquired the team, but and I didn't really get to live through the success they had in the 90s. Like, I honestly don't even remember Mark Brunell. I never got to really watch Tony Baselli, like a lot of these guys. And the Jaguars are in their 25th season. They've been doing something on Twitter called the 25 season, or like the top 25 players in franchise history. And a lot of the players I never even really knew about. So to answer your question, I wasn't really around when they incorporated the team. But I'll tell you one thing, man. Jacksonville is a sports freaking town, and I've only lived in Jacksonville and Orlando in my life, but just growing up in Jacksonville, everybody is a fan of some kind of college team. It's a huge college town. To see you have a big melting pot of different fans there, because it's kind of equidistant from Gainesville, Florida, where the Gators played, and Tallahassee, where the FSU plays. But also to the north, you have Georgia fans, and you have some other fans, kind of sprinkled in there too. Like there's some South Carolina Clemson fans, also Miami's at the south end of the state. Man, like Florida, you grow up talking smack to other to your other classmates. It's mostly the Florida State rivalry, but I love the town. I just one big difference is it seemed like most of the people in Jacksonville watches sports, but it's not the same down here in Orlando.
Yeah, listen, Jacksonville is only 4 hours from where I live. I live in Charleston. It's a 4-hour drive right down I-95. And so I've been to, like most people in the Southeast, everyone vacations in Florida. I've been to Florida a million times, been to Jacksonville a bunch of times, been to Orlando a bunch of times. So it's a cool place. And I can attest to the fact that these smaller market, especially for the NFL teams, man, these smaller market teams have a very passionate fan base because they are smaller markets. And we always feel like that we don't get the respect that, a Dallas or a New York does. But I could tell you, we might not have the amount of fans that some of those bigger markets have, but there's definitely no lack of passion in that. And as far as the colleges go, at least, you have, I can understand that you had, Florida State, UCF, Miami. Just the list goes on and on of college teams in Florida. Of course, here in South Carolina, it's pretty much Clemson and South Carolina, and that's it. So, but yeah, college football is a religion, where you live and where I live, without a doubt.
Yeah, it just makes weekends in the fall just so much better when you have football. Like, right now you're kind of getting some stuff done around the house on the weekends, or maybe you go out to the pool. But man, like during football season, during the week, you're just wanting it to get to the weekend so you can watch your college football on Saturday, or watch your NFL ball on Sunday. And but yeah, you're right, man. It's Jacksonville is a huge sports. Everyone's passionate about their sports. I'm sure it's just the same really all around the South.
Right. All right, so we're gonna get into the meat of the questions here. This is what everyone's here for, and everyone's here to know about the YouTube channel, and that's what I'm probably most interested, to be honest with you, to hear about as well. So, just like I ask everybody, what was it that possessed you? Because I believe that everybody that does what we do is at least a little bit stupid or a little bit crazy or maybe a little bit of both, to put your face on camera and to dedicate time, even though if it's something we love, to putting yourself out there and creating content that people like. And your channel really, I don't know exactly how fast it grew, because I don't know, you're going to tell me in a minute here, but I don't know how long exactly you've been on. But what possessed you, and how long have you been on, and what possessed you to do this? What hair did you get to make you do this?
Well, with how I kind of grew up, like I grew up actually a big Florida Gators fan. Like I've been to all of Tim Tebow's home games. I was a big Florida fan, so really all throughout elementary school, junior high, high school, like my team was Florida, and I followed everything they did. But then I didn't wind up going to Florida. I actually wound up going to UCF, and once I got to UCF, football season started up. Like I felt like the Jaguars were my real attachment to Jacksonville. And I was always a fan of the Jags, growing up, but I wasn't someone that could name every player on the offensive line. There'd be some games that I wouldn't watch, and I wasn't super passionate behind the Jaguars. But it just seemed like when I moved to Orlando in 2012, that was like my real connection to Jacksonville. Being that I wasn't really going to be a Florida fan anymore just because I'm not going to the school. I know everyone's different, but that's just how I am. I just kind of fell apart from the Gators, and I just followed everything that Jaguars did, and I knew everyone on the roster. I would follow every single move that they did, and then, I just became I felt like I was so knowledgeable about just football and about the Jags my last couple of years in college, and I always thought about, it'd be cool to get out there in some way and to spread everything I know about the Jaguars, just because I felt like I was holding a lot to myself just because I'm not really surrounded by a lot of Jaguars fans. A lot of my friends in my fraternity weren't really that big of sports fans besides like kind of a handful of people. So I was like, you know what, I should start like a YouTube channel one day. I feel like that'd be kind of cool. I could cam up and just, start talking and do that. But, I was always pretty busy in college because, I was doing full-time class, and I was also, working a ton at my internship and then studying around that and just having a social life. I didn't really have the time for it in college. But then January 2017, I graduated December 2016. So I all of a sudden had a lot more free time. And then one week, and I'm like, you know what? I should make a video about the Jaguars and actually, kind of get into this. So I made my first video. My videos were pretty bad the first month, but my channel grew. My channel grew pretty quickly. Really looking back from the quality of the videos, like I started in January 2017. So right after the season ended, my first video was about the Doug Marrone hire.
Right.
And then really just by the time the summer came, I already had 1,000 subscribers. So I think that it was just because I make such unique videos because no one else really makes consistent Jaguar videos like I do, and just the quality was, it was just fun. And ever since then, it's just been an awesome ride. Made this kind of a routine. I've developed a pretty good, fan base out there. It's just something a lot of fun to do, and I've yet to really be bored of it. I just love talking football.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that because you just mentioned that, there weren't really a lot of people out there making Jaguars content. I mean, I'm sure you know better than I do. Are there other Jaguars video makers that, that consistently put out content, that don't work for a major corporation or something?
There's, I think, 2 other Jaguars YouTubers. One of them has been around for a while, and he's one of the guys that I used to kind of watch a little bit. He's kind of a TTC guy, and there's another guy that pumps out videos. He makes a lot of videos. This other guy, but my channel has been the most successful, I would say, and I don't want to like trash the other channels, but I just feel like my channel's been the most successful when it comes to just gaining subscribers and getting views, and my audience retention rate on my videos is pretty good. So it's fun. The channel is really niche. So I noticed that if I make videos about any other thing, like, last year I previewed the Florida, Michigan, Florida State, Alabama games. I kind of previewed both those games in one video, and it just doesn't get near the amount of views as a typical Jaguar video gets. So I don't really go into that as much, but, I just kind of stick to the Jaguars. I'm going to start doing weekly picks with Jet Central this year, so that'll be fun. And, that'll be kind of my area when I go out of the, Jaguar realm.
Yeah, once you establish yourself as doing a certain team or something, a certain NFL or whatever, then that's really what you build your subscriber base on. I've experimented with doing NFL videos, and I like doing them too. Because I'm very interested in the NFL, but I found the same thing you said, that the vast majority of the people that will watch me don't watch me for the NFL, so they just don't care. So I don't I don't do much of that. But the something I hear that is mentioned a lot on your channel, and of course I think I know what this is, but I want you to tell everybody else, is the Gen Jag, Generation Jag, as I'm assuming is what that stands for. Is that a website of yours?
Yeah, it's not my website. It's someone else started it up, and
Okay.
he's been around for a while. I mean, Generation Jaguar does a bunch of different things. They're super prominent on social media. I think it's got over 10,000 Instagram followers, and it's all over Facebook, Twitter. They sell merchandise. They do tailgates before Jags games, and I mean they do all kinds of different stuff. You know, they podcast, which I'm also a part of. So they reached out to me really like my second or third month doing YouTube, and you know we kind of partnered up. You know, they share my videos. I give them shout outs to my videos, and you know put their links in the description box. I probably don't promote it as much as I should, just because when I'm out making a video, I try to make it short and sweet and to the point, so I don't try to put up with a lot of fluff. But yeah, I mean, it's been it's cool, and those guys at Gen Jag are awesome people.
All right, so I don't know. I see there that just goes to show you what I don't know, and I learn something new every time I do one of these interviews. I thought that Gen Jag was something of yours, but you're saying it's somebody else's, and you're just sort of having a loose affiliation through your YouTube channel with them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I got you. All right. Well, that makes more sense now. Now, obviously, YouTube is your bread and butter. I don't know. Is there anything else that you do outside of YouTube to get your message out there? Is there a blog, a podcast, Twitch? I mean, I don't know. I can't even keep up with all the. I've had several people on the show tell me, "Oh, I do this platform as well," and I've never even heard of some of them. I can't even remember what they're called right now. So, outside of YouTube, is there anything other that you're doing to get the UCF Jaguar brand out there?
I probably don't do as much marketing outside of my channel as I probably should. You know, a lot of my viewers just really come from, you know, the YouTube browse page. But I am actually I'm on Twitter a lot. My Twitter's actually growing a bunch. I'm at about I think 12 or 1,300 followers, which I really never thought I'd be that. You know,
yeah.
My really Twitter account would get that big. So that's not necessarily me. It's not necessarily me promoting my channel on there. It's more just me talking and getting my thoughts and just saying whatever I think. I did start up an Instagram about a year ago. That's pretty fun. I like Instagram. I just feel like I'm better at Twitter just because I'm not good at all the abstract camera shots. And I mean, I'm at work all day, so I just don't have time to really keep up with all that and posting stories and stuff. But I mean, those are really my only two things. I should probably get on Facebook just because I can kind of reach an older generation on there, because you know when I look at my I'm in a bunch of different Jaguar fan page groups, and you know I feel like through there you get a lot of the older generation, and then through YouTube, the guys that are on YouTube and Twitter are of the younger people. So I probably should get on Facebook so I can reach a bigger audience. But yeah, I'm not on Twitch. I don't do this Discord thing. I really still don't know what Discord is. But I'm not really on any of that.
Yeah, you sound exactly like me. I love Twitter, man. I mean, I think Twitter is just so much fun. But I don't have a Facebook thing either. I started an Instagram account a couple weeks ago. I don't even know how to use that thing, and I don't have the patience to try to learn how to use it. I need to get somebody to walk me through that. I just don't have the patience for it. Twitter is so much easier to use, as far as I'm concerned. I don't do the Discord and all that stuff either. But as the channel grows, I'll like you said, we probably should be doing more to spread the brand. But anyway, it is what it is. Now, your family. This is one of the most interesting things to me, because everybody has a family. I mean, some people are married, some aren't. I'm assuming you're a single guy, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you're a young guy, you're a single guy, but you still have parents, you still have siblings. I know I've seen your brother on your channel before, doing live streams for games. I'm sure you have a lot of friends, especially since you live, or at least, in the home state that you grew up in. So what was the reaction, or have you had any sort of weird reactions to, from family members or friends or extended family or anything like that, as it relates to you starting a YouTube channel?
It was funny at first because I really didn't tell anybody about my YouTube channel. I mean, my brother and my dad knew about it, and they would kind of watch it. My dad would be, my toughest critic, kind of tell them different ways to improve. But really, I didn't really let people know I had a YouTube account until it got a little bit bigger, because I didn't want to be that guy with, 45 subscribers and just making crap videos. I'd rather people discover me when they said, "Oh wow, he's actually, he's got a lot of subscribers, he's got a lot of, people viewing and commenting and stuff." So I didn't really let that out until probably about football season started. Then I started telling a little more people about it. But I mean, my dad went to college for broadcasting, so he worked for CNN a little bit.
Okay.
He doesn't work in broadcasting anymore. He's in the RV business, but yeah, I mean, he was always like, this is so cool. Like, I wish I had this when I was younger, as opposed to when back in, the 60s, 70s, you didn't really have anything. So, yeah, I mean, he definitely thinks it's cool, and he's definitely my biggest fan right now.
Yeah, listen, I'm jealous because you're about 13 or 14 years younger than me. I wish that when I was 25 years old, there would have been YouTube around that I could have gotten in at that age. Because listen, I'm a middle-aged man now. When you're, let's see, I've been on for almost 2 years now. So I was 36 when I started the YouTube channel, and by that time, people are looking at a 36-year-old guy like, why are you starting to do YouTube now? I mean, but the fact is, I mean, it's obviously not my full-time job. I don't make hardly anything off of YouTube, but I enjoy doing this more than any other job or I've ever had, or any other business I've ever owned. So, I wish I would have found it earlier. So I think you're going to be very successful on YouTube. I mean, I can just tell you have what I call the it factor, the look, the information, the passion for what you're doing, and you're always changing and improving the YouTube channel to make it better. And that's a sign of success in any business that you're going into. So kudos to you for that. Now, what's the future of UCF Jaguar look like? I mean, everyone's got a plan for the future. I mean, things happen slowly. Things happen year to year. We've seen, like you said, from the very first videos that were very bad, like all of ours were. Mine were terrible, and pretty much every other video maker could probably make the same claim as far as that goes. But they're obviously getting a lot better production, better content, more time and energy put into them. So what is the future of UCF Jaguar? What's the grand plan here for the next few years?
Well, I'm just gonna keep pushing out these Jag videos, man. I know some things that I did improve. I recently got a green screen. I kind of got that working in there for me, so I'm still kind of learning it. But I think that opens up really just a lot of opportunity to do a bunch of cool different things. Like, you've noticed that guys like the Sports Tree do it. They were really the first ones to kind of bring out the green screens. And so that's cool. I want to do like you and do more call-in shows. That's one thing that I had on my channel for a little bit, but the software I was using, the same little kid would come in there and somehow unmute himself and just say a bunch of racial slurs and stuff like that. So that I literally couldn't do that anymore. Keep doing live streams for the NFL, like reactions, because I think those are a ton of fun. It's a fun way to get involved. And, just doing different things like, weekly pick'ems. I'll be doing previews to every Jaguar game, post-game reactions, and just, covering breaking news. So I'm going to keep on covering the Jaguars like as passionately as I can.
Yeah, and I see all those are great things. I love to do the live call-ins. That's probably, what I'm doing here right now, interviewing people. That's definitely my favorite, at the top of the list. And then my second favorite thing is to do the live shows where I can get calls. And of course, you're always going to get those. I get those all the time. People calling and saying crazy things. But you're going to get that with live shows. You don't have a call screener, and you never know what people are going to say live on the air. But all right, so last question, and I think that you might actually give me something that I'm looking for here, because I've asked this same question as the last question to everybody that I've interviewed, and I've got some okay answers, and I've got some pretty much non-answers. I haven't really had any great answers, but I know for a fact that you're going to have some great answers on this, so you better not let me down. The best experience that you've had not on camera, but because you have a YouTube channel, that you would not have had you not had a YouTube channel. And it may not be just one experience. It could be multiple experiences.
Well, I think a lot of it, I'll name you a few things, is just getting recognized at a lot of places. Like, I live in Orlando, so I've had only one circumstance where someone recognized me, and actually two. Someone recognized me at a Magic game in front of all my friends. It was kind of funny. because I was with a few of my friends who went to the Magic playoff game just this last summer, and I was with probably about 6 people. Only one of them knew about my YouTube channel. Then this guy comes up to me, "Hey man, are you like UCF Jaguar?" And he goes all crazy, and everyone's taking all of them are taking pictures with me, and like literally my friends looked at me like, "What the hell?" So that was kind of funny. There was another funny circumstance where I was at Longhorns Steakhouse over in Jacksonville, and then I had like the waiter notice me. He's like, "Oh my God, you UCF Jaguar." Then a guy from another table came over and like recognized me. So that was kind of funny. But I think the biggest thing that really opened my eyes to a lot of things was when I was at training camp, at one of the Jaguars training camps, because, you know, I was open to public, then after you take pictures with players and stuff, you know, I was just taking pictures of players like a fanboy that I am. I took a picture with one guy. He was an offensive lineman. You probably never heard of his name. It's William Poles. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have the team, but he after he took a picture with me, he goes, "By the way, I've seen your videos before." And I'm like, how were they? He's like, "They're pretty good." So that was probably that's when I opened my eyes and thought, man, like, I bet a ton of these guys, all these millennials that are out here on looking up highlights of them on YouTube, I bet more players on the Jags have seen my videos than I thought.
Yeah, that's very cool. And I know, I don't know, you didn't mention this, but I know you've done sit-down interviews with Jaguars, or maybe former Jaguars, maybe not current ones. Is that right?
Yeah, I've done a few interviews. One was with a former player, one of the original 10 Jaguars ever signed a contract. His name's Greg Huntington. But most recently, last year, I did a sit-down interview with Jaguars wide receiver Dede Westbrook.
Yeah.
If you're a college football fan, you've definitely heard of him.
That's the one. That's the one I remember seeing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that was really cool to just be able to sit down and interview him. I was incredibly nervous. There were, all the lights and cameras were set up. Like there was probably about 12 people watching, and I'm not someone. I pumped out a lot of videos, but I haven't done many interviews, so it was definitely a different position for me. I was just happy I kind of went through it without struggling too much, but I mean, it was cool, and you can definitely check out that video if you YouTube UCF Jaguar Dede Westbrook. So it was really cool just having him right there in public, and I think he's got. I mean, you can interview a lot of different guys, but they don't turn out into much. But Dede Westbrook looks like he's going to be a stud in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember seeing that video, and I just remember thinking, man, that's so cool. I would love to have either a current Clemson player or a former Clemson player that's now in the NFL to interview. Now, I think as far as the current Clemson players go, I'm sure that the Clemson staff wants them nowhere near me, and for obvious reasons. But yeah, I mean, I just think that that's the coolest thing. I mean, that's really what it's all about. If you can get somebody that's a player or even a former player of the team that you're making videos about to sit down with you and give you their time, that's just the ultimate compliment, and it just doesn't get any cooler than that, really. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know I said that was my
I mean,
no, go ahead.
I was just saying that it'd be cool to definitely do that again sometime. I feel like I am at a disadvantage just not living in Jacksonville to do something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something cool to look back and say, this is what my YouTube channel was able to do for me.
Yeah. So, hey, by the way, Taj Boyd, if you're listening, holler at your boy. I'd like to have you on the Pigskin Pete YouTube channel, sir. I see you on every other channel in America. Anyway, I know I said that was my last question, but it's not, because I just thought of another one while we're sitting here. Because you just got done saying you were single. What is the dating life look like for UCF Jaguar? Are you currently dating anybody, sir? If you're not, why not?
Well, my thing is I've had girlfriends, I think my thing is just being able to make it last a while, just because I'm kind of an introverted guy. I kind of like my own space. So, I'll go through the longest relationship I've ever had was like a year long. I've had another one last for about 6 months, but really, I mean, I just kind of go through and, I'll date a girl for a month or two, then I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of bored of this. And I probably haven't just met the right person, but I like to prioritize my own things. I like to do what I want to do on my own watch. So, I mean, there'll be a time, I'm still young, 25 years old, so there'll be a time where, I'll settle down and, find a woman for life. But for now, man, still living that bachelor life, just, still partying, still meeting girls out. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Man, that sounds like fun to me. Somebody's been married a long time. So yeah, no rush to it. I'm sure you'll meet a girl, and just here's my only advice: make sure that she is really into sports too. Because if you're as into sports as you are, and she's not, then I don't care how good she looks. I don't care how much you love her. It ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna work. So anyway, there's my advice.
That's the thing during football season. If you don't have a girl that watches football, I mean, with the amount of football that I watch, it's definitely be hard.
Yeah, see, I'm lucky. My wife loves football. She's a Clemson grad. She loves, obviously watching Clemson. So I'm lucky in that department. But yeah. So
there you
anyway,
go.
that's some free advice for me. I won't charge you for that, and you're welcome for that. But
no super chat.
All right, UCF, man. Yeah, listen, I can't thank you enough for coming on here. I always learn something, and I always appreciate and enjoy doing these interviews. Are always a lot of fun for me. I hope you enjoyed it too. And listen, I think just like every other person I have on here, I would love to work with you again in the future. Even if it's NFL related, I can certainly talk NFL football. But if you ever want to come on my YouTube channel and talk about UCF, I mean, listen, UCF is becoming a bigger and bigger brand, and we don't have enough time on here to talk about, them joining a bigger conference or something. But I think that probably is just a matter of time. But listen, if you ever want to come on and talk for college football, I'd love to have you. And that's it. I can't thank you enough for coming on.
Hey man, hopefully UCF can run the floor and maybe we can preview a national championship game. But if UCF goes undefeated, they're not going to, unfortunately.
No.
Just with the way, it's just the way college football works. I mean, I can't say I can disagree with it necessarily just because they don't have to go through the SEC, ACC type of road. But, yeah, I mean, it's been cool going to UCF just because when I came to UCF, they were nothing. Yeah. And then my sophomore year, you have guys like, Blake Bortles and Storm Johnson that led, the team to a Fiesta Bowl victory. And then just ever since then, man, it's been really fun to see the program grow. And, since I've been there and, since 2014, they've been in 3 different New Year's Six Bowls. So
yeah,
it's a really good accomplishment for a team to kind of come out of nowhere and do.
No, it's a really great program. I think they're eventually going to join the ACC. I think that just geographically and everything else, they'd fit better in the ACC. But it's just a matter of time before they join that's a big school, man. What do you guys have, like 50,000 undergrad students that are enrolled there every year?
Yeah, there's a lot of people there, man. And oh my God, that'll be one of the greatest days of my life when UCF does join a bigger conference, whether it be the Big 12, even though it looks like the Big 12 is just breaking down right now.
Yeah.
But man, if we can get the ACC, oh my God, I'd be so excited.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. And it's a really good program, man. I mean, listen, if you're a Power 5 school, a Group of 5 school, and you get as much exposure as UCF, that's obviously, for good reasons. If they did what I suggest, and get rid of divisions and expand the playoffs to maybe 6 teams, maybe 8 at the most, and they give the best Group of 5 team every year a shot to get in the playoffs, an automatic bid, then that would give, somebody like UCF a chance, even in the Group of 5. Or I don't even understand why the Group of 5 doesn't have their own playoff and national championship system, at the very least.
I mean, it definitely stinks the fact that UCF went undefeated one year. And they didn't get to compete. What other sport besides college football can you literally beat every single team that you line up against and not be declared like an overall champion? It's just, the way college football works is, 4 teams get in, and with all different college football teams out there, and I know you have to go into logistics about, these college football players that don't play for money having to play all these more games, and, with these different players jeopardizing their NFL careers. It's unfortunate the way it works in that way, but hopefully we can see a day where there are 6 or 8 teams that make it, and UCF will give it a shot. But hey, maybe hopefully in the next 10 years we'll be able to join a bigger conference, and I won't have to even worry about that.
Yeah, that's the route I think it's going to go. But anyway, listen, man, it was great. I can't thank you enough, and hopefully we can talk again soon. Everybody go check out my man UCF Jaguar. If you haven't subscribed to him, listen, I'm not even a Jaguars fan I watch all of his videos. I learned stuff about the Jaguars that I never would have learned if I didn't watch him, because let's be honest here, the national media doesn't cover certain teams as much as they cover others. If you turn on ESPN, you're more likely to see Giants and Cowboys and Rams and Chiefs talk. But when it comes to teams like Carolina and Jacksonville, you need to come to a better source, a more accurate and consistent source like YouTube, and he'll give you that. And so that's it. Everyone go check out UCF Jaguar. Thanks, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on, man. I'm ready for football season to get here, and I look forward to sharing this video with some of my followers.
Thank you. It was a great time. I appreciate it. Have a good one, man.
Amen.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. UCF Jaguar. One of the nicest guys on YouTube. I know I say that a lot, but he really is one of the nicest guys on YouTube. It's hard. Some of these people, it's hard, to not like. And he's one of those guys. He just is. He's just a nice dude. And again, very informational. If you love the NFL, if you love the Jaguars, make sure you check them out. And I hope you all enjoyed it. I will be back. Listen, I'm going out of town on Friday for the weekend, and I usually do my Friday beer streams on Friday, but I'll probably do one Thursday night if I can, my live call-in show. So be ready for that. Again, thanks now to Volunteer Roadshow for sponsoring all the call-in shows. Thank you to betnow.eu. Hit the link in the description if you want to make wagers and support a good cause, and use the promo code Pete. You're all amazing. You're all fantastic, including my man, UCF Jaguar. Pigskin Pete, checking out.